And good afternoon, everyone. Hello, and welcome back to White House Field in Harwich, Massachusetts for game number 14 of the 2018 New England Regional. And we're going to see, for the second time in as many days, the Oswego State Lakers taking on the UMass Boston Beacons, but this time it's into the championship round. UMass Boston with a 7-5 victory over Ramapo in the final losers bracket game of the day, so they advance through the losers bracket and into the championship round, and they'll have their second rematch in as many games today. UMass Boston knocking off Ramapo, of course, earlier in the tournament as well, that 2-1 thriller back on Friday night. And yesterday, of course, they lost 11-4 at the hands of Oswego State. Now, that was a close game for much of the game. It was 3-2 after 5 innings. It was 6-4 after 7. But Oswego State's offense really touched up the back end of UMass Boston's bullpen. And, of course, UMass Boston made, a decision not to go crazy bringing in relief pitchers in the final innings of that game. Reason for that being, they knew they were going to have to, in the event that they lost that game, which they did, they were going to have to come back and pitch the early game today, which they did, and now come play this second game today. So that's what they've done. And the interesting wrinkle is they're going to ride Brian Kaufman, who closed out the last game with 2 innings. And remember, he threw 3 innings here back on Friday night. They're going to go to him again and see whatever's left that he can give them today to at least start this game, because this is, really one big game to UMass Boston. They've got to sweep it to stay alive. So UMass Boston is the visiting team, and they'll bat first. Eddie Riley leads off and plays third base. Then Kyle Boudrias bats second at designated hitter. Batting third and playing second base is Dave Murphy. Batting cleanup at first base is Chris Fowler. Batting fifth and catching is Ryan McCormick. Batting sixth in left field is Anthony Cesare. Nick Herzog bats seventh in right field. Sal Frascino bats eighth in center, and Charlie Hughey bats ninth and is at shortstop. Now that pitch is in for a called strike one, and the pitch is offered by Nick DeMarco, who gets the call today for Oswego State. The right-hander turns and fires and misses low. Makes it a 1-ball, 1-strike count. DeMarco, a junior out of Latham, New York, listed at 6'2", 190 pounds. This one grounded. Diving play made over at third base by Enos. Strong throw on to first for the out. Great play there by Enos. He was in even with the bag, not back at conventional depth, because Riley can like his way around a bunt from time to time. Makes the diving stop there, gets up and throws, and gets him for out number 1. So now Kyle Boudrias, the batter. Very dry here at White House Field as we start game 14. The infield very light in its brown color all the way around, so that's a very good sign that we can get the remaining baseball in here today. So for Oswego State, a win here today sends them to the College World Series as that pitch is in for a called strike to Kyle Boudrias. UMass Boston, if they win today, would halt play for the day because in NCAA rule you're not allowed to play 3 times in a day, so we'd come back tomorrow for one winner-take-all game for the trip to the College World Series. That's what UMass Boston is gunning for here in this one. So similar defense as yesterday for Oswego State. Hylas at first, Nicholson at second, Whalen at shortstop, and the aforementioned Enos at third. We'll get you the outfield in just a second. It's the 1-1 pitch. Misses low and in. From left to right, Holton, Barnes, and Delicari, of course, who homered yesterday. And speaking of homers yesterday, Olson behind the plate, although it was Whalen out of the 9 slot that had the homer yesterday for Oswego. So they put up a couple of them late. 2-1 pitch. Misses a little bit inside, so a hitter's count now for Boudrias. He'll be followed by Dave Murphy, and then if anybody can reach, Chris Fowler. Beacons very briefly had a 3-2 lead in yesterday's game. We're not able to hang on to it, of course, as there's a free pass taken by Boudrias. So 1 on, 1 out for the Beacons in the top of the first inning.
The second baseman, number 8, Dave Murphy.
1 on, 1 out for Dave Murphy. Murphy, the second baseman, he homered in yesterday's game, but it was of little consequence as Oswego State had come back from down 6-3 against UMass Boston closer Bobby Tremendozzi, who came into the game early, had a 1-2-3-6, but then gave up 4 in the 7th on 5 straight hits. Murphy answered with a solo shot in the bottom of the 7th, but ended up being but a footnote in the game because Oswego State's offense remained red hot for the rest of the day and tacked on some 5 more runs after that was over. So Murphy now facing a 1-ball, no-strike count as he stands back in. Runner takes a lead from first. 1-0 pitch. on the outside corner for a called strike. 330 feet to the poles, 400 to straightaway center field here at White House Field, home of the Cape Cod Baseball League's Harwich Mariners. UMass Boston playing here 2 days ago, collecting one of their 3 victories in the tournament. That one missed low. So UMass Boston 3-1 in the tournament. Oswego State that much more advantageous 3-0. 2-1. Misses up and away. 3 balls and 1 strike to count. Hitter's count now for Murphy as he digs in from the right side. Runner stays put. Pitch is popped fouling out of play. And the count goes full. So the test for UMass Boston, certainly they can play at a high enough level to win this game, but you have to exhaust so much pitching when you're coming out of loser's bracket play, because you've got to play the twice today, and of course you'd have to win again tomorrow in order to do it. Check swing, ground ball down to second base, too slow for a double play, or so we thought. Runner ran into him, and it is a double play. Bad base running there by Boudrias, who ran directly into Nicholson, who had no other chance of turning two. And a mistake on the base pass again for the Beacons today takes them out of the first inning. That was something we saw too much of in yesterday's game as well. No runs in the inning on no hits, no errors, and none left on base. And at the end of the half inning of play, your score UMass Boston, nothing. Oswego State coming to bat. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional on beaconsathletics.com. All right, so we'll get right into it, headed to the bottom of the first inning. Told you about Brian Kaufman. He takes the mound, just kind of trying to pick up where he left off. As he worked the final 2 innings, picked up his 2nd save of the tournament. Remember, actually his first save to go along with the win that he had in relief. He pitched like a closer in the first win over Ramapo, as he's been able to shut them down twice. But in the Friday night game, he came on in relief in a tie game and hung on for 3 innings, put up 3 scoreless frames, and helped lead UMass Boston to a 2-1 victory in that game. Here earlier today, he goes 2 innings to close the door on a 7-5 UMass Boston victory. And so this is kind of like, maybe having to sit out a rain delay. He had to wait that whole time in between games, and then, of course, he had to sit through the top half of the first inning as well. So it's been a long time since Kaufman's been able to throw, but he is warm, and he is prepared. And so it's just you kind of take this whole thing 1 inning at a time today. If you're Brendan Igabrot, you just have to keep yourself alive, and then hope at the end of the game you get an opportunity to pluck away a win. It's very hard, almost impossible to beat 2 teams as good as Ramapo and Oswego State in succession when those 2 teams only have to play once on the day. It's a very difficult thing to do. It does get done. It happens in regionals nearly every year around the country somewhere, so UMass Boston's certainly talented enough to do it. The question is just, do they have enough pitching to beat an offense that just hung 11 on them yesterday? And that's the question that they've got to answer in a definitive yes, or the season's going to be over. So Ryan Enos going to lead things off here. Enos will be followed by Nicholson and then Delicari, 1, 2, and 3 in the Oswego State order, and we'll dive a little deeper into that Oswego lineup as the day goes along. For Oswego State yesterday, Enos had himself a day. He was 3 for 4 with a run scored and also an RBI on a sacrifice fly, so he really was making it happen out of the leadoff slot for Oswego State. It's going to be even more important than usual for UMass Boston to try to keep this leadoff hitter off base, because he has been a major catalyst for what the Lakers have done so far in the tournament. Enos, Nicholson, and Delicari I told you about. Then it'll be John Barnes, Miles Kutcher, and Eli Holton in the middle third of the order as the first pitch is in for a strike. After that, Kevin Hylas, Lucas Olson, and Zach Whalen. So functionally the same lineup as yesterday, rolled out there by Oswego State as the 0-1 pitch Misses off the outside edge. Now 1-1. Fowler at first base, Murphy at second, Hughie at shortstop, Riley at third. From left to right in the outfield, Cesare, Frascino, and Herzog. As trying to lean into that one, it looked like was Enos, and it almost got a piece of his jersey on the way down. Oswego State wearing their take on those 70s Houston Astros uniforms with all the stripes down the bottom half of the jersey and white up the top. They actually have their names on the backs of these jerseys, which is unusual at this level. Ground ball back to Kaufman. He booted it. 3 defenders in the middle of nowhere, and reaching safely is Enos. He's on again. Comebacker could have been an easy out there. Kaufman wasn't expecting it, and then Fowler came chasing the ball when really their only chance of getting the out was to have Fowler stay put at first base. Once he had left the throne there was no chance of getting back, no chance of getting a throw over to first base, and so Enos was able to leg that out. Looks like they've given an error on Kaufman to start things, so Enos is aboard, and now Brandon Nicholson at the plate. First pitch, misses away, and you know, when you're in this situation that UMass Boston's in, a deficit is so much more than on a normal day, because you know you start to count down the outs that you've got remaining, and you have to figure out how you manage pitching when you don't have the lead, and yet the season's on the line and all those things. So if Oswego State could take an early lead, they make life that much more difficult for UMass Boston, make every decision they have to make all the harder. If you're UMass Boston, you want to put up a 0 here, then maybe put up 5 or 6 next inning and be able to ride through as much of this game as possible with a fat lead. That's your best chance of getting it done when you're coming out of the loser's bracket, when you're trying to force that winner-take-all game tomorrow. You just want to get this behind you as painlessly as possible, which is a lot easier said than done. 2-0, they show bunt. Nicholson pulls back and takes ball 3 low. And so again, this has that Game 7 type feel to it for UMass Boston. It does not for Oswego. And the home plate umpire chasing the Lakers back into their dugout. Didn't look like anybody was all that far away. .30 pitch, misses down low. So Kaufman with a 4-pitch walk, and he's not going to have a long leash in this game. They can't afford to give him that. There's no action in the UMass Boston bullpen right now. But this will be very much an all-hands-on-deck Johnny Holstaff type of a game for UMass Boston, simply because they have no alternative. So here's Delicari. Delicari hit that big home run that really put yesterday's game out of reach. Took an 8-4 game, turned it into a 9-4 game. And, of course, the Lakers went on to win it 11-4. Delicari, the right fielder, up at the plate with 2 on, nobody out. UMass Boston not playing a bunt defense here. They're staying back. This is why. Ground ball down to Fowler. His only play is to first. Good break and good read on the ball by Brandon Nicholson running from first base. He saw the ball was on the ground and immediately got himself over to second. That took the double play out of order, so a productive out for Delicari. Works out the same as a bunt, and there's now runners at second and third with just the 1 away. So second and third, 1 out, and John Barnes the batter. First pitch, blocked down in the dirt by McCormick, ball 1. Enos at third, Nicholson at second with 1 away. Now the 1-0 pitch, foul tip. That might kick back fair. It's rolling toward the chalk, and a good job by McCormick to follow it. Picked it up in foul territory, and he's wise to pick it up there, because if it rolled back fair, Enos would have scored, whether you recorded an out at first base or not. So now a 1-1 count. It's a thick lip on the grass on the other side of the first base line in foul territory that kicked it back, although not quite far enough to get back to the other side of the chalk. Now the 1-1 pitch, waved at and missed. Well out in front of the breaking ball was Barnes there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. With 1 away in the bottom of the first inning, again, Oswego State trying to return to the College World Series in Appleton, Wisconsin for the second time as many years, as are the Beacons, but they'll need 2 wins to do it. 1-2, waved at and missed, strike 3. So Kaufman going to the soft stuff on back-to-back pitches, and he registers a massive strikeout. Now with that second out in the inning, the defense can move back to its conventional depth, and you've got a fighting chance to get out of this thing now with 2 on and 2 out. Miles Kutcher, the batter. Kutcher in yesterday's game came alive late, 2 for 5, but had hits in each of his final 2 at-bats, as it turned into quite the slugfest in the late frames for Oswego. First pitch misses low and away. Got the empty base here. Keep that in mind with Kutcher. No need to make a mistake to him necessarily. With Holton waiting on deck. 1-0 pitch is popped up. Fowler giving chase. Will he have room? It stays in play, but he had to go up and over the mound area in the on-field bullpen, which, I mean, is year 2018. We're still using on-field bullpens. Got the best player in the tournament risking injury to catch a ball. Just amazes me across the sport that we still put up with this sort of thing. Didn't make the catch, ball did land in the field of play, although foul, and it's now a 1-1 count. Kutcher digs back in. Runners at second and third with 2 away. Pitch misses low. Now 2 balls and a strike. Holton, I mentioned waiting on deck, is Oswego State just trying to put the pressure on UMass Boston early. Kaufman looking for a big third out. His 2-1 pitch just missed the inside corner. So again, you got to keep in mind that opening at first base. Don't want to make the mistake over the fat part of the plate when you've got first base empty. If the bases were loaded, you'd be hemmed in. But Kaufman does not necessarily have to put this one in the strike zone. Down 3-1 in the count. We'll see what he does. Coming out of the stretch, he steps and delivers. Curveball gets him in the back. Hit by pitch for Kutcher. He fills in the empty base that way. And we come to the climax here in the first inning as you've got the bases loaded, 2 away. And for the Lakers, will they or won't they take a first inning lead? Eli Holton will step in from the right side. Holton, the left fielder, had a hit, a walk, scored a run in yesterday's win over the Beacons. That game was up at Massachusetts Maritime Academy. That game being played on artificial turf back at White House, the intended host of the tournament, on the natural grass surface, as that pitch misses low and outside for ball 1. White House Field has the home plate shape around home plate rather than the fungo circle. 1-0 on the corner for a strike. Count now even at 1-1. Kaufman looks in, he's got his sign. He'll go back to work the pitch. Foul tipped at the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out with the bases loaded. Here's the pitch. Popped up into foul territory. That will get out of play. We'll have at least 1 more. In the bottom of the first inning, of course, for Kaufman, this is his 3rd inning of work today and his 6th inning of work in the tournament. 3-run effort in relief on Friday night to pick up the victory over Ramapo, and then a 2-inning save over Ramapo earlier today to get UMass Boston into this game. 1-2 pitch is lifted. This one trouble. That's a bloop and is down in left field. 2 runs will score easy. Everybody on the move with 2 out. The throw goes through to the plate. Aggressive base running means everybody will take an extra bag. No reason to throw home there. No chance at getting that second run. And by throwing over the cutoff, you let the 2 trail runners take an extra base, and now a single could make it a 4-0 game. 2 RBI double, or single, for Holton. He'll take second on the throw. Enos in to score, Nicholson in to score. And Oswego State picking right up where they left off offensively yesterday. 2 RBI there for Holton. Good base running there by Kutcher as he saw the throw was going to go over his head. Strike 1 into Hylas. Both of those runs unearned, of course, because of the fielding error at the very beginning by Kaufman. A rather inauspicious start. Really seemed to set the stage for what else went on this inning. An inning that could be over by now if he had fielded that comebacker. Next one in for strike 2. Kutcher get over to third there. Holton up to second. Hylas just looking to see if he could slap one through to make it a 4-run game early. 0-2 pitch misses down in the dirt. Now the 1-2 pitch, grounded foul. If Hylas could keep this moving, Lucas Olson would bat next. Kaufman trying not only to get out of this inning, but also to be able to extend his own day. They could only take him out the once, of course, so he wants to pitch deeper into this game, as deep as possible, as the 1-2. Popped up fouling out of play, and that's the other thing that really helps Oswego is whether you score here or not, the longer you make this inning go, the more you make Kaufman throw now is the less he can throw later. And that's all very good stuff when you're facing a team that might not have an answer to who throws the 8th and 9th innings today. If you can make Kaufman come out after, say, 2 innings as opposed to, say, 4, that puts you at a big, big advantage to win this game. 1-2, misses down in the dirt. For ball 2, of course, the shoe was on the other foot here. A year ago today, UMass Boston had won the winner's bracket, and they were waiting on a Babson team that was very talented and playing very well, but had lost to UMass Boston in their first head-to-head meeting. And, of course, Babson played great in that game. It was 8-8 late, but they just ran out of pitching. And UMass Boston just sort of outlasted them to win that game and win the regional. Now things are reversed a little bit here in 2018. Ground ball, weakly hit, going to take a hurry from Riley. They're going to say a foul ball. Tumbling in the batter's box was Hylas, appeared to have been off his foot. It's a slow roller. Would have been a tough play on a normal play if Hylas had been running out of the box, but of course the ball striking him, that didn't happen. So he's walking it off here for a moment and coming back up to the plate. 2 already in for Oswego State this inning. On the 2 RBI single by Eli Holton, just a little bloop into shallow left. With 2 away, it was more than enough to get it done. Nicholson hustling all the way in from second. Now the 2-2 pitch, foul tipped. Oswego State might have been better off having that be strike 3 because McCormick didn't catch it. If it had gotten away, you're probably looking at Hylas reaching safely and another run coming in to score. It's Kaufman fortunate that caught a piece of Hylas's bat. Now looking to make an out pitch here, trying to keep himself in the game and trying to keep UMass Boston within 2 early. 2-2 pitch, hit on the ground down towards shortstop. Long way to go, and it jumps up over his glove into center field. 2 more runs in for Oswego State. Tough play for Hughie going to his left. They'll score a hit, 2 RBI, now a 4-0 lead. Hughie had to make it perfect to have a chance. Wasn't going to be easy, but might have had a chance with Hylas lumbering down the line. Didn't get the hop he was hoping for, and now it's a 4-0 Oswego State lead. And these game 14s can get old real fast in situations like this. UMass Boston getting some action going in the bullpen is Chris Monroe, the sophomore out of Marshfield, getting himself loose in a hurry. Kaufman, of course, with the fielding error to the first batter of the game that really set the stage for everything that's followed. All of these runs unearned. Just 2 hits for Oswego State, and really neither of them particularly hard hit. A bloop single with the bases loaded and 2 out to left, and then that 4-hopper to get through the infield. So it's not like Kaufman's getting pounded here, but that fatigue factor of having to face now what's going to be the 8th batter of this inning, on top of the pitching that he's already done today, on top of the pitching that he did on Friday, you just wonder how effective he can be as he continues to throw. So he needs a 3rd out here. It's probably going to be his last batter of the inning one way or the other, and it's in the form of Lucas Olson, the catcher. Now just the 1 runner aboard. It's Hylas over at first. First pitch misses low and in. 1 ball, no strikes. One-0 pitch, hits the corner, and evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. With 2 away here in the bottom of the first. So the Beacons back in similar position to where they were yesterday, down by a bundle against the same squad. Good solid contact, hit out to center field, hanging, and a diving catch made in center field by Sal Frascino. He was playing Olson to pull. He didn't. He hit it to straightaway center. Had to go quite a while to make up for the shading, but did he ever? Made a nice layout catch for the out that retires the side, but a huge first inning by Oswego State puts them in the driver's seat as they score 4 unearned runs on just 2 hits, 1 crucial error, and 1 left aboard at the end of 1 full inning of play. Your score, Oswego State 4, UMass Boston 0. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional on beaconsathletics.com. Welcome back as we head to the top of the second inning. The good news for UMass Boston is there's still time. The bad news, just about everything else right now, as they find themselves down by 4 runs with a very, very thin pitching staff for the remainder of the game against a team that's put up 15 runs of offense against them in just 10 innings of play. So the first pitch misses down low to Chris Fowler. I mean, it's as simple as this. You need to score every time you get an opportunity now. If you're UMass Boston, just about any time you put somebody into scoring position, you've got to get them in. As that one misses low. Beacons had a base runner last inning, but Kyle Boudrias really ran himself into a double play on a slow chopper where that sort of thing should have been avoidable. And, you know, you just play the what if. Maybe you get Fowler up there with a runner at second and 2 out, or maybe just the runner at first, and at least he's got a chance to bat with a man on. Instead here, he bats in a place where he really can't hurt you if you're Oswego State, because he's batting with the bases empty to lead off an inning. So DeMarco making sure he doesn't make the mistake to Fowler. He's quickly behind in the count, 3 balls, no strikes. Playing very much back on the right side, expecting him to pull, and the courtesy strike in to make it 3-1. Here's a 3-1 pitch, belted into right field for a base hit. Over to get it is Delicari. Big round to first by Fowler, but not even close to worth the risk at this stage in this situation, so he'll stay put at first. Leadoff single, first hit of the day for the Beacons, and we'll see if they can get something going to try to respond in the second inning. That's another thing you've got to weigh. If you're Fowler in a situation like that, you know, you got your whole season on the line. You need a big inning at least, probably big innings plural today, to win this game. You don't want to risk outs on the bases in really any situation, at least not now. First pitch, though, is a pass ball, so Fowler will get second base anyway. How about that? Pitch was close to down the middle. Olson getting a little bit crossed up. Beacons have a man in scoring position already, but nobody out in the second. So here is that opportunity. If you can take one back early, take some of the sting out of what happened to you last inning. 1-0, fastball in the inside corner. In for a called strike. After McCormick will be Anthony Cesare and then Nick Herzog. The scheduled hitters were 4, 5, and 6, and of course Herzog 7. DeMarco checks the runner at second, kicks and delivers. 1-1 is in for a called strike 2, and looks like he's found a sweet spot to these left-handed hitters with those sweeping fastballs across the zone on the inside black. McCormick didn't want any part of the last 2. We'll see if he goes back to that same spot here in the 1-2 count. Here's the pitch. It's exactly what they do. Ground ball down to second will advance the runner. Throw on to first is in time for the out, but a good productive out by McCormick puts Fowler over to third. And now UMass Boston just has to play the fundamental game. Championship level teams get this sort of thing done. Runner at third with 1 out, and your season on the line, you just have to get this run in this situation. Anthony Cesare, the batter. Enos is in even with the bag at third base. Everyone else playing back, so they'll trade the run for the out. Cesare taking a home run swing at that one. Got just a piece of it, foul tipping it into Olson's mitt. No balls and a strike. Beacons needing to take advantage of the opportunity to get one back quick. 0-1. This is low and inside. After Cesare will be Herzog, and Fruscino if they can keep it going. Also an opportunity for the Beacons to try to flip their order in the second if they can get a couple of more men aboard. 1-1 pitch, fastball inside corner for strike 2. So that appears to be the target for DeMarco to all these left-handed hitters that the Beacons have rolled out there today. He wants to hit that inside corner with a fastball crossing the plate. So the trick is to see if he misses over the middle of the plate. DeMarco from the stretch delivers a 1-2. Misses a little low. Going for that same spot again. He's been very consistent with the location. Fastball low and into lefties over and over and over again. Fowler had the leadoff single. He's at third with 1 away. Now the 2-2 pitch goes to the curveball there. Good adjustment made by Cesare to spoil it. Grounded it foul over toward that UMass Boston dugout. Now another 2-2 pitch, waved at and missed, strike 3. DeMarco makes himself a big pitch in that situation with a runner at third, just the 1 out. Now UMass Boston going to need a hit to drive Fowler in. Missed opportunity for the Beacons. And now they'll need Herzog to come through in the clutch. First pitch, he's out after it, fouls it off. Herzog trying to extend the inning for Frashino, but most importantly wants to make sure the Beacons score this run because Fowler got into scoring position in a hurry, singled and then took second on a pass ball in the very next pitch, so almost the same thing as a leadoff double. 0-1, big swing, big miss. And DeMarco one strike away from getting out of this, and that would really hurt. You're only going to have so many chances to get back into this game. If you're UMass Boston, and to give one away early and stay down by 4 would make life awfully difficult later. 0-2 pitch, misses off the outside corner. And again, no reason for DeMarco to mess around with the strike zone on these next couple of pitches. You've got that 0-2 advantage, might as well use it. See if Herzog might get himself out. He didn't there. Now 1-2 count. Herzog creeping way over to the side of that right-hand batter's box, hanging over the plate, inside-out swing, and it's fouled off down toward the Beacon bullpen. Count stays put at 1-2. Now the 1-2 pitch off the outside corner again. Evens it at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Frashino waiting on deck, hoping for the chance. DeMarco kicks, he delivers, and misses down low. Count runs full. Now here's the payoff pitch, fouled away. Marco ready. Here's another 3-2. Popped up. Should be playable on the infield. Whalen at shortstop calling for it. He's got priority. He's got the ball, and UMass Boston misses out on a chance to chip away in the second inning. They waste the leadoff single by Fowler and leave him at third. No runs on a hit. No errors, a man left, and at the end of 1.5, your score, Oswego State 4, UMass Boston nothing. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional Championship on beaconsathletics.com. Chris Monroe takes over to pitch the second inning for UMass Boston. Monroe, a sophomore right-hander out of Marshfield, Mass., listed at 5'8", 185 pounds, and he comes on in relief of Brian Kaufman. Kaufman was excellent in his usual role as a reliever, both Friday and earlier today, but you've got to try to cheat in a situation like this. You need to try to make that 18-inning number less daunting somehow. And, Brendan Igebrote rolled the dice to see if he could keep Kaufman going, but you have that long time between games, and also UMass Boston is the visiting team in this game, so it wasn't like he could come out and pitch the top half of the first inning either. So he had the long wait. He's thrown a lot of pitches in this tournament, just didn't work out. He made the fielding error, which took the wind out of his sails a little bit didn't get crushed. I mean, he didn't give up hard hits. He gave up 2 hits, a bloop single to left field, and then one that had eyes on it to get through the middle. You know, it wasn't like he got bashed around the yard, but just didn't get the outs that they needed him to get. Now you're down by 4. You got to make a move. So they go to the bullpen a lot earlier than they wanted to here in Game 14, but such is life right now for the Beacons as the first pitch of the inning is bunted foul up the third base line by Zach Whalen. Whalen will be followed by Ryan Enos and Brandon Nicholson, 9, 1, and 2 in the Oswego State order. And again, you know, we had this conversation late in yesterday's game, that big difference between a 4-run lead and a 5-run lead, and that's what Oswego State wants to get at this point, because if you can push the game beyond a point where a grand slam could tie it, well, then you're looking at a very big lead where, you know, you need to not only have a rally if you're UMass Boston, but you need to regenerate and do it again in order to get where you want to go. Ground ball to third base, in even with the bag at third was Riley. He comes up with it, makes a good throw across the diamond to get a quick out here in the second inning. And that was the irony of it, was remember yesterday UMass Boston had that very long streak of keeping leadoff men off base, as they did it for the final 8 innings of their first win over Ramapo. They did it for the first 4 innings yesterday. First 6 as a matter of fact. So that ended up being quite the streak, first 7. But it just hasn't been going that well for them since, as they let the leadoff man on last inning, and it ended up getting away from them as 4 runs came around to score, as the first one missed for ball 1 to Zach Whalen. Excuse me, that's back up to the top of the order now. And Ryan Enos. Enos reached on that fateful error, the fielding error on the comebacker to Kaufman. It really set up everything that followed as he takes ball 2 high. Now in a hitter's count at 2 balls, no strikes. Monroe looks in for his sign. He's got it. Kicks and fires. Ground ball to third base. Nice stab there by Riley. Behind the bag. Makes a good throw across, but it brings Fowler off the bag. Very difficult play to make. And so that one could go either way, but either way, Enos is aboard with 1 out.
The second baseman, number 13, Brandon Nicholson.
And they will give Enos the single on that. Understandably so, as it's a major league caliber play that Riley was going to have to make to record that out. So 1 on, 1 away for Brandon Nicholson. Nicholson walked back in the first inning, came around and scored. Over to first, runners in safely. Ball 1 down low. Enos back over into the bag. Fowler holding him on. Big hole the other way. If Nicholson could take a pitch in that direction as he takes ball 2 low. Beacons, of course, want the double play up the middle, and so that's why they've got Murphy shifted over a little closer to the second base bag as they want to play Nicholson to pull. So Hughie staying straight up at shortstop. 2-0 misses away. And walks were a major issue for UMass Boston pitching yesterday. Today, so far, they've both walked a man and hit a man, and in danger of doing so again. Nicholson hasn't seen a strike yet. He took a 4-pitch walk last inning, and he's ahead 3-0 in the count here. 3-0, that one in for the courtesy strike. So it takes Nicholson 8 pitches to see a strike. But here he is now with the 3-1 count. Monroe throws, and again Enos staying put. Oswego State trying to head back to the College World Series for the second straight year. 3-1 pitch, popped up, but gets out of play. It just shows you the reversal of fortune that UMass Boston's had in these last 24 hours. You know, in prior tournaments or maybe earlier in this one, that one stays in the yard. You get an easy out, you settle down a little bit. Things just have not been going the Beacons' way lately, at least not when they're playing this team. Payoff pitch, curveball, hanger, driven to deep left. That one's got a shot and it's gone. Monroe hung the curveball, and a great uppercut swing by Brandon Nicholson gets it out of here. And Oswego State grabs a commanding 6-0 lead in the second. Enos all the way in around from first. And the party may be on at Oswego State. So 6-run lead now for Oswego State as Mike Delicari comes to the plate. First pitch to him, misses down in the dirt for ball one. Oswego State already has the distinction of being the only team that's ever beaten UMass Boston in a New England Regional, as they're 11-1 in New England Regional play coming into this game. Oswego State trying to make that 11-2, and if they did, they would ride that out to Appleton, Wisconsin for the second time in as many years. 2-0, misses low. 3 balls, no strikes, and you get into that situation again for UMass Boston where, you know, in a do-or-die game, you wonder about how long a leash Monroe has, but at the same time, at what point do you start to think maybe this isn't a game we can compete in anyway, and at which point, you know, what's the point in making a ton of pitching changes? But you don't want to think that way until you absolutely have to, because you want to compete, because you obviously want to keep your hopes alive that you can come back being this early in the game. But Monroe issues the walk, and Delicari trots down to first base. You know, and this isn't going to look great for UMass Boston. You know, it can be embarrassing when the score gets lopsided, but the reality of the situation is this. If UMass Boston had won the game yesterday between these two teams, it would probably be Oswego State in this kind of trouble right now, because they would have had to have gone and thrown their pitching earlier today, and they would be the ones throwing their second game of the day and their 5th game overall in the tournament. And you know, the reality is most teams at this level aren't good enough to win out of the loser's bracket against a good team that stays in the winner's bracket. And so the team that starts out 3-0 is usually the team that wins these things, and this is exactly the reason why. You just don't have effective pitching remaining in that 14th game. And if you do in the 14th, you almost never do in the 15th, right? So that's where we are at the moment, as John Barnes steps up to the plate with a runner at first and still just the 1 out as he fouls the first one off. So bad as this may seem right now for UMass Boston, just important to keep that in mind. Could happen to anybody. 0-1, they throw over, and Delicari back in. Oswego State scoring 6 runs on just 4 hits, put up 4 unearned runs last inning. And those are the things when you step out this far in tournament play tend to get you beat. Ball outside. Ben Gottesman, the sophomore out of Acton, Mass., taking some warm-up tosses down in the Beacon bullpen now. You see the frustration there on Fowler, zipping the ball back over from first base, where he holds on Delicari. Runner goes, Monroe deals, misses low, uncontested stolen base for Delicari. That's something we saw happen late in the game yesterday as well. And so Oswego State staying aggressive. You It is 6-0, but it's also early. So that's the thing you want to keep in mind is, are you quote-unquote running up the score this early in a game? They would say, no, we've got to build the cushion we need to know we can win this thing with a regional championship on the line. 2-1 pitch, good change. Well out in front of it was Barnes. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Miles Kutcher waiting on deck. He was hit by a pitch earlier in the game. The 2-2, curveball, misses low. So now full count. Payoff pitch, grounded to shortstop. Hughie getting on it, makes the throw over to first. It's high, sails it. Another run will come in and score. Fowler will throw down to second. Now they'll get the out at second base. It'll go 3-6, but the run does come in to score. So no RBI there for Barnes as he reaches on the error by Hughie. And then the put out going first to second will go 3-6 for the second out of the inning, and the base is now clear, but things going from bad to worse for the Beacons, of course, because now you're looking at a 7-0 score. So base is empty for Miles Kutcher. When you think about it, Oswego State putting up 9 runs in the last 3 innings of the game yesterday, and now 7 in the first 2 today. Just do some quick arithmetic on that. They've put up 18 runs in their last 5 trips to the plate against UMass Boston pitching. First pitch fouled away for strike 1 to Miles Kutcher. Oh, 1 waved at and missed as Kutcher unable to hold up on the bat. Still a lot of time left in this game for UMass Boston, but they would need the pitching to get much better real fast against a lineup swinging with some serious confidence right now. And then you go back to last inning, Beacons had a chance to score a run and didn't. Those things kill you when you're playing from behind and you've only got 9 chances at this. To give one away in the way that they just did makes it that much tougher. Needing to take back 7 runs now in 7 innings. 0-2 waved at and missed for strike 3, so Kutcher goes down swinging to end the inning. But 3 more for the Lakers in the second. They put up 3 runs in the inning, highlighted by the Nicholson home run. They do it on just 2 hits. Again, an error that leads to a run. And none left on base at the end of just 2 innings of play. Your score: Oswego State 7, UMass Boston nothing. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional on beaconsathletics.com. And welcome back, top of the third, as there's been quite the pall cast over this game 14 for UMass Boston as they find themselves already into their bullpen and down 7-0 in just the top half of the third inning. So quite the hill to climb, and this won't make anything any easier, although there is a bobble, and still the out over at first base. When you're hot, and when you're not, and that's a sign right there that this just might not be the Beacons' day, as he was booted over at first base by Hylas, but nevertheless they rebound and get the 3-1 put out. So Frashino back in the dugout quickly. One pitch, one out, and you just have to understand the situation that you're in. If you're down by 7 runs early in a game, first pitch swinging is not what you're looking to do, because you don't want to be giving away scarce outs. You've now got just 20 left in your season. You don't want to be giving them away on the very first pitch of an inning. You need to try to build for a big inning every inning, and that's always going to involve a lengthy at-bat from the leadoff hitter, wherever possible, as the first pitch misses down low to Charlie Hughie. Hughie will be followed by Eddie Riley as the Beacons will finally get back up to the top of the order here in the third inning. That one in for a called strike. One hits the outside corner. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Blocked down in the dirt. DeMarco delivers, ground ball to third base, fielding it at deep third is Enos. He throws across and got it there in a hurry. Wow, in time. Hylas was surprised by how fast the throw got over there and had to react quick to make sure they got the out. So 2 up, 2 down, and now Eddie Riley the batter. Riley 0 for 1, grounded out to third base to lead off the day offensively for UMass Boston back in the first inning. First pitch swinging again, so UMass Boston going to give away, and that one gets up, and is that out of here? It is. Swinging first pitch and hitting it out is Eddie Riley. Terrific effort by Holton as he went diving up and over the fence, but it does get out of here, and Eddie Riley takes one back and gets UMass Boston on the board. Now a 7-1 ball game here in the third inning. The last 2 runs the Beacons have scored now against Oswego State have been via the solo shot. So they got one from Dave Murphy late in yesterday's game. So now Kyle Boudrias the batter. Boudrias worked a 1-out walk his first time up back in the first inning. He takes the ball low here. So fly ball off the bat. It looked like it'd be playable, but hit to the exact right part of the ballpark, as you saw. Holton just run out of real estate in the left center field power alley. Golf swing there. Hit to right center. That's going to get down for a hit. So Boudrias is aboard. He was thinking about second as it got overrun a little bit by Barnes, but he adjusted in time. So back-to-back hits here for the Beacons, and if they could get their bats hot, we might have a game yet. 2 away for Dave Murphy.
The second baseman, number 8, Dave Murphy.
Murphy grounded into a 4-3 double play that ended the first inning. He had Boudrias as his runner there, and it was a slow chop. Boudrias did all the defenders' work for him by just running right into Nicholson's chest as he fielded the grounder, which really gave him a chance to get a double play where he otherwise wouldn't have been able to. First pitch misses down low. If Murphy could reach here, Fowler would bat next, and the Beacons would love to have 2 men on for Chris Fowler, so he might be able to cut the deficit in half. 1-0, down in the dirt. Murphy swings and misses. Count now even at 1 ball, 1 strike. One sweeps across the zone and misses away. 2 balls, 1 strike with 2 out. Here in the top half of the third inning, UMass Boston trying to mount what would be a very memorable comeback to try to force a winner-take-all 15th game tomorrow. 2-1, fouled straight back to the screen. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Here in the top of the third inning, DeMarco trying to finish off the Beacons in the third. UMass Boston trying to get a little bit more out of this 2-out rally, which began with a home run by Riley to left center. 2-2 pitch. Mean hook gets in the back door for a called strike 3, and Murphy sent packing. So the Beacons get 1 on the home run by Riley, but that's all. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left aboard. At the end of 2.5 innings of play, your score now Oswego State 7, UMass Boston 1. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional on beaconsathletics.com.
Left fielder from number 24, Eli Holton.
Bottom of the third inning here at White House Field, 7-1. The lead already for Oswego State. And the question is as simple as this: can Chris Monroe give you a 0 out of the bullpen for UMass Boston? If he can, you've got at least a chance to try to come back in this game today. If you can't, this game's just going to be too far out of reach, because Oswego State already put up 4 in the first and 3 in the second. That's about as much water as you can afford to take on with 6 innings left in the game. So 7-1 the score here after Riley hit the home run last inning. That one misses high. Two 2-0 pitch in there for a called strike. Somebody has got to be able to stand on their head out of this UMass Boston bullpen today, whether it's Monroe or somebody else. So he gets the first crack at it here in the third inning. 2-1 is ripped. Well struck but foul. Home run distance but foul to left field. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes, because if Monroe can step up and give you 2 or 3 scoreless innings, that buys you some time to try to come back in the game. But if you're constantly adding on to your deficit, you just run out of time so fast, because you can't have the kinds of rallies you need to come back, because that one's in for a called strike 3 to Holton. Back-to-back strikeouts now for Monroe, so we're going to see if he can find some rhythm in this game and hang around for a while.
The first baseman, number 22.
1 down for Kevin Hylas. He'll be followed by Lucas Olson. Hylas is 1 for 1. He singled back in the first inning. First pitch misses up and away for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. And the base is empty for the moment. Oswego State just trying to continue to pile on. Inside out swing, fouled away. Out of play to the right side. 1 ball, 1 strike. One pitch. Just low and away. 2-1 goes back to the curve. Very good location there by Monroe. Puts it on the outside corner. Now the 2-2 misses low and in. And the count now full. Payoff pitch, misses low and inside, so Monroe with a chance to get back-to-back strikeouts there. Ends up losing Hylas, and now there's one on with one out.
The catcher, number 44, Lucas Olson.
So here's Lucas Olson. Olson is 0 for 1. Flew out to center field back at the end of the first inning. First pitch fastball, swung on and missed for strike one. Now Fowler will come in for a quick chat. Olson will be followed by Whalen, although Beacons would love to get a ground ball here, see if they could get out of the inning quick. They have not held Oswego State scoreless in an inning since Bobby Tramandozzi got them 1-2-3 in the sixth inning yesterday. Beacons had the lead back then. How much has changed since then? 0-1. Served into left, hanging long enough, and a nice sliding catch made out in left field by Cesare. 2 away for Whalen, the 9-hitter. Whalen, though, had the home run late in yesterday's game, so he's not your average 9-hitter. But an opportunity, nevertheless, for UMass Boston to try to get out of an inning unscathed. And if you can keep that score down, you know, you scored a run last inning, maybe you get a chance to pick up another 1 or 2, and you start thinking, you know, we have some time. This is a game we can compete in. But you need so many zeros from this pitching staff that's been stretched so thin to make it happen. Time called just prior to the pitch. Runner goes, first pitch on the outside corner, throw down there just to a bad spot. It was in time, but it trailed to the first base side of the bag, and that allows Hylas to dive in safely with a stolen base. Accurate throw would have had him. He did not have a great jump. Owen won the count. Ryan Enos waiting on deck. A 1 curveball hit on the ground to Riley at third. He's got it. Throw across is in time for the out that retires the side. So that's what the Beacons absolutely had to have. They needed to win an inning, and they do win the third, albeit only by a score of 1-0, but they at least do get this thing turning in the right direction. Can they start to build on it becomes the question. We'll find that out as we move to the middle frames. No runs in the inning on no hits, no errors, and 1 left. At the end of 3 full, your score, Oswego State 7, UMass Boston 1. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional on BeaconsAthletics.com. Top of the fourth inning here in Harwich, 7-1, the Oswego State lead, but UMass Boston does have the most recent run in the game. They finally were able to stop this red-hot Oswego State offense, so if you ever were going to turn this game around, now would be the time to do it. As the first pitch of the inning is in for a called strike to Chris Fowler. It'll be the middle third of the order coming for UMass Boston here. Fowler, McCormick, and Cesare. You just try to keep it going, 1 or 2 an inning, while you're still early in the game. As Fowler takes this one the other way, could be trouble if it were ever to land fair. And it does! It does land fair just inside the baseline, and Fowler is going to stroll into second with a double. Break there for UMass Boston. Not particularly hard hit, but off the end of the bat and muscled out that way. Just flew and flew and flew and found some room inside the spray paint. And now Fowler finds himself in scoring position again with nobody out, and this is deja vu for UMass Boston. Remember, they had essentially the same situation back in the second inning. Fowler that time singled and then took the second base on the very next pitch on a pass ball. Beacons couldn't get that run in. They get a second chance at it now, and down by 6 here in the fourth, it's just even more important than it was then to get that run around and in. As the first pitch misses low and in to Ryan McCormick, but of course down by 6, you're not going to bunt and play small for the run. You're trying to break open into a big inning that could really get you back into this game. 1-0, they'll look the runner back to second. Fastball. Good heat, but missed a little inside, so a hitter's count now for McCormick. Beacons trying to set the table here early. 2-0 pitch. Very good fastball in the outer half. In for a called strike 1. Two-one fastball in for a strike at the knee. Good bounce back by DeMarco as he's been able to work his way to even. Righty checks the runner, now comes to the plate, goes to the hook, and it's a good pick. McCormick was looking for another fastball, didn't get it, and he walks back to the dugout, 1 away. DeMarco got a key strikeout in that second inning, too. Remember, he got Cesare to fan with Fowler standing at third base at the time with 1 out here. Fowler's at second as Cesare steps in, of course, 0 for 1 with that strikeout. First pitch blocked down in the dirt. 1-0. Breaking ball down in the dirt. Cesare with a swing and miss. Count even at a ball and a strike. Fowler spent a lot of time in scoring position today. Got there with nobody out in the second inning. Got there with nobody out in the fourth inning. Has yet to come around and touch home plate. Beacons have to cash in these opportunities when they get them. Just isn't enough time remaining to leave something like this on the table as that miss for ball 2. Beacons knocked off Penn State Berks on day 1 of the tournament. Since then, they've beaten Ramapo twice, and they're trying to avoid losing to Oswego State twice after coming up on the short end last night. 2-1, fouled straight back. So 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. If the Beacons were able to get this one, it would set up a winner-take-all game 15 tomorrow, with the trip to Appleton on the line no matter who wins. Oswego State hoping it doesn't get to that, hoping they can finish it out right here today. 2-2 pitch. Fastball inside. And the count runs full. So the Beacons have threatened. They've come close to having a big threat in this game, but they've yet to have multiple runners on base simultaneously. Trying to change that here as Cessary's about to face a 3-2. Here's the payoff pitch. Down in the dirt for ball 4, so Cessary works that walk. An opportunity presenting itself to UMass Boston here as they go down into the lower part of the order. Herzog, Frascino, and Hughie. You heard Sean Manfredo the other day on the broadcast saying what's made UMass Boston so good is an ability to get production out of the bottom third of the order, particularly in conference play in the Little East circuit. Can they do that again here today where they need it so badly? Down by 6, but still a lot of game left. First pitch, generous strike call. On the outside corner, no balls and 1 strike. If you could get 2 or 3 back here, you'd make the comeback much more plausible. Still a lot of time left in the game. We're only in the 4th. But it got late early, as Yogi Berra used to say, as UMass Boston found themselves staring up at a touchdown deficit after 2 innings. 0-1 pitch. Down low. 1 ball, 1 strike. With 1 away. One. Misses low and outside.
Oh, we're sleeping? Oh, I'm sleeping. I'm definitely sleeping.
So 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. With the 2 runners aboard. Here's the pitch. Fouled straight back.
I apologize for anything you might have seen.
And waiting on a new baseball here. Fowler, of course, had the leadoff double. Cessary worked the walk.
Always happy.
Cleaning off home plate here as Herzog steps back in. No action in the Oswego State bullpen, as of course they're not under the gun in the same way that UMass Boston is. They can afford a loss here today. They don't want one, of course, particularly with this lead. But it wouldn't be the end of the world if they did and have another chance tomorrow. And so you manage the game differently when that's the hand you're dealt. Starter has more room for error. 2-2, no, and the throw, wow. Throw into right field and not even close. You might be able to score that run there. Just a horrible throw from catcher by Olsen. Both runners will take 2 bases. And the Beacons get a run that way. It's now a 7-2 ball game. A 4-base error. Fowler in from second, and now Cessary all the way over to third. Herzog facing a full count. Consecutive runs in consecutive innings for UMass Boston as they try to make this interesting. 3-2 pitch, grounded but foul. Enos staying a little behind the bag at third, still a big lead for Oswego State. They'll trade a run for an out at this stage in the game if they can, just to try to prevent this from turning into something bigger. They've got 2 outs on the board here, but there's only 1 in the inning. 3-2 pitch, driven the other way to right field, and caught on the run. Runner tags from third. He will come on in and score, so a great job by the Beacons here in the 4th as they put a crooked number on the board for the first time today, and it's now a 7-3 ball game on the sacrifice fly to right field by Nick Herzog.
Center fielder, number 20, Sal Frascino.
Cessary in to score. So Frascino the batter. Frasino 0 for 1, grounded out to first base. Remember, that was that really hard luck ball for Frasino where it ate Hylas alive, but he was able to recover from it in time and still get the out over at first. Beacons have Gottesman throwing in their bullpen again, and you wonder what the move would be here. As you know, you got to start to taking these moves very seriously again, as this is starting to look like it might be a game after all, as Frasino takes ball 2. Now, you hate to think of it this way, but remember that run that UMass Boston left out there in the second. If you'd gotten that one as well, and it was 7-4 right now, it'd be that much more plausible that you could come back in this thing. It's the 2-0 pitch. Inside-out swing, going to land foul. UMass Boston scoring 1 in the third. Eddie Riley got it going with the solo homer over the left center field fence, and they take 2 more back this inning, aided heavily by that terrible throw by Olsen. There was no need for it. The runners weren't attempting to steal. He tried to do a snap throw to first out of his crouch and just let it go in such a way it ended up in foul territory in right field. As that one bounces down for ball 3, Fowler was able to come all the way in and score from second. Cesare went from first to third and then, of course, scored on the sacrifice fly. So as it stands right now, those 2 runs very, very unearned right now. 3-1 pitch on the inside corner, and the count full. Hughie on deck hoping for an opportunity. Beacons would love to get through the bottom of their order here if they could. Here's the payoff pitch. Lined, auto hop and threw into right field for a base hit. So Frasino is aboard with 2 out. That makes that Fowler run and makes it into an earned run. The Cesare run remains unearned. And now Charlie Hughie, the batter. Hughie 0 for 1. Didn't bat until last inning. Grounded out to third base. Beacons will get the top of their order, a 3rd trip in the 5th inning. Which, offensively speaking, not a bad pace to be on. At this stage in the game, of course, you've just got that bear of a deficit right now at 7-3. But 7-3 is a lot better than 7-0. Time called as they are starting to get some action in the bullpen over on the Oswego State side. They've got a right-hander getting up and loose. See if we can take a peek at who that would be. Nick Antonello, the freshman out of Liverpool, New York, starting to get warm and throwing off the mound. And you have to balance this. You know, you love to take a big lead in these elimination games and just ride them if you're the winning team, because, you know, once they get closer, you start having to weigh, you know, winning today against what you might need tomorrow if you ever get into a game like that. You have to make, you know, some shaky coaching decisions, because you're constantly asking yourself, are we winning today or are we not winning today? And how much are we willing to, you know, mortgage tomorrow to try to win today? Those are the decisions you don't want to have to make if you're Oswego State. And if you're UMass Boston, those are the decisions you want to force them to have to make inning after inning. And the more you can score, the more pressure you can put on. As the first pitch misses low and away, that's the second pitch to Hughie. Now a 2-0 count on Hughie. With 2 away, the runner aboard at first in the top of the 4th inning. This one going to take a while today. As the 2-0 pitch is on the outside corner for a called strike. It's 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 away in the inning, and you wonder if we might see Frasino on the move, see if the Beacons could scratch one more in. They would be feeling great if they could take half of what was a 6-run deficit away in just 1 inning. And, of course, it all comes down to the Beacons. Can they pitch? They've been stretched so thin. Kaufman already done, having thrown in both games today. Where are the outs going to come from? It's a 2-1 pitch, grounded down to shortstop. Plenty of time. They'll go the short way to second for the out that retires the side. Whalen to Nicholson. But the Beacons get some more work done here in this 4th inning as they come up with 2 runs, one of them unearned. They do it on just 2 hits, 1 key error, and 1 runner left on base. And at the end of 3.5 innings of play, your score now, Lakers 7, Beacons 3. You're watching the 2018 Harwich Regional on beaconsathletics.com. UMass Boston going back to the bullpen again. Ben Gottesman becomes the third pitcher now in 4 innings. The right-hander listed at 5'10", 160. A sophomore out of Acton, Massachusetts, and he takes the hill in a situation where, it's just very simple. You need zeros. You have to have them any way you can get them. They got 1 out of Monroe last inning. Beacon still staring uphill at a 7-3 deficit in the 4th inning, but they've got time, if you can get this game stabilized, to try to come back. The first pitch to Enos is in for strike 1, and you can see a little more life on Gottesman's fastball than you've seen on some of his teammates so far today. Reason for that being he just hasn't pitched as much, has more left to give at this stage in the tournament as the 0-1 hook misses upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. Goes to the curveball again. Enos whacking at it. That's a foul ball, and make a late foul call there. Riley did not make the throw. Top third of the order up for Oswego: Enos, Brandon Nicholson, and Mike Delicari. These guys have been all over the bases so far through the first 2 innings. The 3 of them combined have scored 5 of Oswego State's 7 runs. Just getting a leadoff out here would go a long way toward breaking up that formula for scoring. 1-2 pitch. Ripped into left field. That'll get down for a base hit. Socked into left off the bat of Ryan Enos. He takes a wide around first, and he'll put on the brakes there. He's been aboard all 3 times. Now 2 for 3 with 2 singles. Also reached on an error back in the first inning. It's that leadoff man again aboard for the 2nd time today. And Brandon Nicholson now the batter.
Number 13, Brandon Nicholson.
Nicholson 1 for 1, and it's been a loud one. A 2-run homer back in the 2nd inning. That at the time gave Oswego State a 6-0 lead. Really broke this game open. He also walked and scored back in the 1st. First pitch blocked out. Good scoop in the dirt. Throw to first made things interesting. Nice pick there by McCormick. Gave him a chance at Enos, but Enos got back safely. 1-0. Fastball in for a called strike. Beacon's just hoping to hang in this game long enough to try to make a late comeback. They've done what they've needed to do in the last inning and a half to keep themselves in it. They've prevented it from becoming a total laugher. Here's a pop-up. Will it stay in? Fowler giving chase. You got to have outs like these. And he can't make the catch again. Twice he's had to go up over that on-field mound today. It's one on a flat surface like you really ought to have at every baseball field in the year 2018. He makes that play easy. Instead, with the mound, no. Most places that do have on-field mounds at least go in the other direction, where you've got the mound farther out. So that happens less often, and you've got the flat side of it, the home plate side, closer to home plate. Not the case here at White House. And Fowler's been regretting that a couple of times so far in this game. 1-2, they throw over. One-two popped up. Fowler's got another shot. Doesn't have as far to go to get this one. Curving back toward fair territory, and he makes the catch in fair territory for out number 1. So Nicholson down, and Mike Delicari the batter. Delicari's 0 for 1. Grounded out to first base unassisted in the first. He walked, stole a base, and scored a run in the second. First pitch, rides inside, ball 1. Time call just prior to the 1-0 pitch. Ball hits the corner. Now 1 ball, 1 strike is Gottesman just looking to see what he can give the Beacons here. This can be his game for as long as he wants it, provided he can keep delivering the goose eggs. UMass Boston would love nothing more than to ride him the rest of the way. You know, if he can keep the zeros coming, he'll keep getting the chances. 1-1 hook, grounded, just foul. Just foul. It was fair when it bounced in front of Fowler, but it hooked to the right side of first base. Jamie Williams right on top of that over at first base. With the foul call now 1-2 on Delicari. UMass Boston now shifting its defense in a big way as they're now playing Delicari to go the other way. 1-2, grounded right at Fowler. Touches first for the out. He bluffs on the throw to second. They were going to need a tag anyway, so he made the calculation quickly that it wasn't worth throwing it into left field. Can't say that I disagree. Enos up to second base now with 2 away. Good defensive play there by Fowler, who's been tested quite a bit this inning. And a big opportunity now for UMass Boston to try to put up a second straight 0 on the line score. John Barnes, the batter, he's 0 for 2, struck out swinging in the first, reached on an error in the second inning, ended up getting thrown out at second base in the process. This ball misses low and in. There was an overthrow from shortstop that hit the side fence. He tried to stretch it to second base and got cut down there. That was the second out of that long second inning. (1-0), curveball misses away. So now a hitter's count here for Barnes. Kutcher waiting on deck, open for a shot at it. Now the 2-0, curveballs popped up on the infield. Fowler looking at it will be the second baseman making the call, and Murphy makes the catch. So, hey, Oswego State doesn't score in the fourth, and UMass Boston might just be back in this game after all. No runs in the inning on a hit, no errors, and 1 left on at the end of 4 full. Your score now, Oswego State 7, UMass Boston 3. Can the Beacons get themselves back into this thing in earnest? We'll find out in the 5th on beaconsathletics.com. Welcome back as we head to the top of the 5th inning. All is not lost yet here for UMass Boston. They had a dreadful start to the game, fell behind 7-0 in 2 innings, but they've done the hard work of making themselves stay in this game, and now maybe they can start to do some of the fun stuff as Eddie Riley leads things off here in the 5th inning. The top third of the order, Dewey puts down a good bunt. Going to be tough to handle. Bare hand play made at third by Enos. His throw is in time. Tremendous pick by Enos over at third base. One of the best defensive plays of the tournament right there. Riley moving well out of the box. Enos's only chance was to bare hand and throw immediately. He did. Good pick by Hylas over at first base and a key first out to the 5th inning for Oswego State.
The designated hitter, number 15, Kyle Boudrias.
Tough break there for UMass Boston. Would have given them a leadoff man aboard. Can't ask for a much better bunt than that. Now Boudrias, the batter, takes ball 1 high. Boudrias 1 for 1, walked in the first inning, singled his last time up right after the homer in the 3rd. 1-0 on the outside corner. Gets in there now 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch from DeMarco misses low. 2 balls, 1 strike. After Boudrias will be Murphy if they could get around to it. Fowler, who's been hot today. Fowler is 2 for 2 with a single and a double. And that single could have been a double if they needed him to leg the base in a different situation. So swing and a ball hit well out to right field. This one's not getting caught. Heads out toward the gap. Lands in front of the right center field fence. Headed to second is Boudrias. He's thinking 3. He rounds second. Headed to third, and he will get there with a 1-out triple. So Kyle Boudrias all the way over to third, and now that makes the play by Enos all that much more important. Because if Riley had reached with the bunt single, he would have scored the 4th run of the game right there. Instead, Boudrias by himself at third with 1 away. And Murphy going to see what he can do about making this a 3-run game. Beacons got it back to within slam range last inning. They could make it a save situation if they could score here. Murphy 0 for 1, 0 for 2. Grounds this to third. Contact plays on. They're going to come to the plate, and he's out at the plate. Enos having a monster inning defensively at third base for Oswego State, single-handedly preventing a UMass Boston comeback. I mean, you think if you just have a joker of a third baseman out there, the Beacons already have 1 run in. Maybe they've got 2 on with nobody out right now. Instead, because Enos has been so good, you've got 2 out, no runs in, and just a runner at first base with 2 out. Put out at the plate goes 5-2. You can't fault the Beacons for being aggressive there. You need that run on the board. You take the chance at it, you make Enos execute, and he certainly did. First pitch to Fowler, believe missed for ball 1. And that's the real kicker, is you take the runner out of scoring position now for Fowler's at bat. Tremendous defense by Enos, really, with momentum in the game hanging in the balance. 1-0, misses outside. 2 balls, no strikes to count with 2 away. Two-0 pitch, misses a little low. So 3 balls, no strikes. Fowler, if he could get on, would extend the inning for McCormick, who's 0 for 2 on the day. 3-0 on the inside corner for called strike 1.
Oh, no, did you want no, you can. Oh,
3-1 fastball ripped into right. That would have driven in the run if you hadn't had the contact play on there. So this inning, really buzzard's luck for UMass Boston, 7 ways to Sunday. Murphy up to second, Fowler aboard at first. So 2 runners. Had 2 hits in the inning. Had a runner to third. Nothing to show for it. Had that terrific bunt by Riley that easily could have been a hit. Can UMass Boston salvage something out of this inning with 2 away? McCormick 0 for 2, grounded out to second in the second, struck out swinging in the 4th. Beacons just hoping for something positive to show for all the offense they've generated this inning, as the first one misses high. 1 ball, no strikes with 2 away. This is the thing about needing the big comeback. Threats aren't good enough. You need runs. Digging out from down by 4 in the 5th inning of what could be the final game of your season. Second one misses inside. Now 2 balls, no strikes on McCormick. DeMarco trying to get out of what would be a very important jam here in the fifth as he tries to keep his team in a position of strength. Fastball on the inside corner for a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike the count. Back up to the rubber. DeMarco out of the stretch. Kicks and delivers. Foul straight back. Over our heads, now a 2-ball, 2-strike count. If McCormick could keep it going, Anthony Cesare would bat next. Beacons trying to take momentum in this game. They trailed 7-0 after 2. They took 1 back in the third, 2 back in the fourth. Despite a triple and a single in this inning, they have yet to score. 2-2 pitch, down in the dirt, ball 3. And things will get awfully interesting here as Murphy and Fowler will be on the move with the pitch. If you were ever going to hit a ball to a gap, this would be the time to do it. Could make it 7-5 in a hurry. So DeMarco has to make a pitch here. Runners go. Here it is. Taken to center field, and it is caught on the dive in center. Keeps runs off the board for UMass Boston in the fifth. 3 fantastic defensive plays by the Oswego State Lakers. 2 by Enos at third base, and then Barnes with the diving grab in center keeps at least 1 run off the board in the fifth for UMass Boston. Great innings worth of hitting for the Beacons, but they have zilch to show for it. No runs in the inning despite the 2 hits that easily could have been 4. No errors and 2 men left on base. Halfway through regulation here in Harwich, your score remains Oswego State 7, UMass Boston 3. You're watching UMass Boston Baseball in the 2018 Harwich Regional on beaconsathletics.com. Welcome back as we head to the fifth inning. 7-3 right now, the lead for Oswego State, and it's the 3 that's more significant than the 7 right now because UMass Boston did enough with the bats last inning to score 2 runs and maybe 3, but because of the defense that Oswego State played, they got credit for none of it. And so instead of being a 1 or a 2-run game right now, it's still a 4-run lead for Oswego State, and that might just give them the path that they need to win this game. As the first pitch misses down low. As we've been saying all day long, it's early, it's early, it's early. Now it's not quite so early. You're looking at needing 12 outs to win this thing. If you're Oswego State, that's a number you've got to feel pretty comfortable about being able to go and get, knowing that you lead by a minimum of 4 runs headed into the 6th. As the next one misses low to Miles Kutcher. Kutcher will be followed by Eli Holton and Kevin Hylas, 5, 6, and 7. In the Laker lineup, Kutcher today, 0 for 1, was hit by a pitch and scored in the first inning, struck out swinging to end the second. 2-0 pitch, hit the other way, blasted but foul. Deep out of play in right field, 2 balls and a strike now the count. Ben Gottesman back on the mound for UMass Boston in his second inning of relief. The starter, Brian Kaufman, was the closer of the game earlier today. They tried to keep him out there. Didn't work out as he gave up 4 runs, all of them unearned, but due to his own error in the first inning. Chris Monroe then gave up 3 in the second. It's been Gottesman since coming in the fourth. This here's a ground ball and throw it over for the out. Monroe had the scoreless third to his credit. Gottesman came in last inning. And is going to see how much of this game he can give the Beacons. Keeps the leadoff man off. That's key. No action in the UMass Boston bullpen right now as Eli Holton comes to the plate. Holton had one of the biggest hits of the game, just a flare into shallow left field with the bases loaded and 2 out back in the first inning. Scored the first 2 runs of the game. This ball went outside here. His last time up, he struck out looking. That was to lead off the third. 1-0, cut on, hit to deep center. Going back is Frasino. He's got time, and Frasino makes the catch in front of the warning track for the second out. A loud, long F8. Gottesman and UMass Boston will take them any way they can get them, given this situation, down 7-3 in the bottom of the 5th inning. So the base is empty with 2 out. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the first time that's been true all day. As a matter of fact, it is. It's the first time in this game that UMass Boston pitching has been able to get the first 2 outs against the first 2 batters. First pitch swung on, fouled out of play to the right side off the bat of Kevin Hylas. No balls, 1 strike now the count. Lucas Olson waiting on deck if Hylas could extend the inning. 0-1 pitch. Gets away, now a ball and a strike. Now the 1-1 pitch. Misses a little low. 2 balls, 1 strike with 2 out, and the base is empty. 5th inning, Oswego State leading 7-3 and threatening to really take momentum and run away with it here. Beacons really need the shutdown inning. And they're a strike away right now from getting it from Ben Gottesman. As you play these what-ifs in games like this, you wonder, geez, you look at what Gottesman's done here. What if he had started the game for us? What might be the case today? There's no way to know for sure, but it's something you wonder about. If you're a Beacon fan right now, Gottesman taking a couple steps off the mound there. Not something you want to do when you're counting on a home plate umpire to give you strike calls in a game like this. It was an okay pitch, not great, and certainly didn't warrant that reaction. And a lot of times that can make the strike zone really shrink on you on the next pitch. 3-1 curve, serve to left field, hangs up, and a sliding catch made in left field by Cesare for the out that retires the side. Now 6 in a row set down by Gottesman after the leadoff single to the first batter he faced. Nothing across for Oswego State in the 5th, and the Beacons still in this thing, headed to the 6th. At the end of 5 full, your score, Oswego State 7, UMass Boston 3. You're watching the 2018 Harwich Regional here on beaconsathletics.com. New pitcher into the game for Oswego State as they make the move to number 12, Nick Antonello. He comes on in relief of Nick DeMarco, who went 5 innings but didn't seem to have a whole lot left as he got hit pretty hard in each of the last 3 innings. It is really fortunate to be leaving with the big lead that he leaves with because they put up 7 in the first 2 innings. And he gave up 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and really got rocked the most in the 5th inning, but just had some very good defense behind him that prevented the Beacons from scoring. So remember, UMass Boston, the visiting team in this game. That'll become more and more important as this game goes along. So we bat in the top of the 6th inning as the first pitch is in for a called strike 1 to Anthony Cesare. Cesare will be followed by Nick Herzog and Sal Frascino. 6, 7, and 8 in the order for UMass Boston. 0-1, tap foul. Cesare struck out back in the 2nd inning, walked, came around to score after that bizarre throwing error from catcher by Olson that really has a lot to do with why the Beacons are as close in this one as they are. Cesare takes an outside corner strike and goes down looking. 1 gone in the 6th inning. So the Beacons fail to get that leadoff man aboard for the 2nd inning in a row.
The right fielder, number 34, Nick Herzog.
Ballpark lights now on as it's been a gray day, much like so many days are on Cape Cod this time of year, but the darkness starting to set in, the lights on as ball 1 misses low and in to Nick Herzog. Fastball hits the outside corner, now 1-1. 1-1 pitch misses away. Yes. 2-1, grounded foul. Herzog trying to find a way on base. Beacons hoping they can get something from the bottom of their order again. They were able to get a run out of this portion. Back in the 4th inning. 2-2 pitch. Hit right at, guess who? Enos over at third base. Ryan Enos just having a huge game defensively over at third. And there are 2 away. And this is the thing about when you have to crawl out of a hole as big as the one the Beacons got themselves into today. If anything at all goes wrong, like a couple of good defensive plays, just so much of the game gets behind you that it gets late in a hurry, and you're almost into the late innings now with 2 out and the base is empty here in the 6th. First pitch to Frascino right down the middle. Antonello not messing around with him, coming right at him as that one gets in for a called strike 1. 0-1 pitch, waved at and missed down low. Now no balls and 2 strikes. With 2 out and nobody aboard. Antonello back to the line, swung on and missed on a ball in the dirt. Frascino's got to run it out, but the put out goes 2-3, and it's a very quick 1-2-3 6th inning for Nick Antonello, who made it look easy. And now you can start to taste it if you're a Oswego State fan, because you're 9 outs away. Headed to the bottom of the 6th, your score 7-3 Lakers. We'll take a break and come right back. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional on beaconsathletics.com. Bottom of the 6th inning, 7-3 the lead for Oswego State as they want to try again now to try to push the game out of Grand Slam range. UMass Boston did the heavy lifting of getting back to within a range where one big rally could get him in. Gottesman back out to the mound for what is his 3rd inning of work. He's been very good. He's retired the last 6 batters he's faced. His first pitch a little bit high to Lucas Olson. Olson is 0 for 2, flew out to center to end the first, flew out to left his last time up in the 3rd. Olson will be followed by Zach Whalen and Ryan Enos, 8, 9, and 1 in their lineup. Some extra on that fastball from Gottesman, swung on and missed. Gottesman, slow kick, quick delivery, hits the outside corner, strike 2. Think about those runners that UMass Boston stranded. Fowler left at 3rd base back in the 2nd inning, getting nothing out of that 5th inning rally as there's a swing and a miss. Strikeout for Gottesman, first of his outing. He has set down 7 in a row. And what a shame this would be for UMass Boston if Gottesman gives you that Superman relief outing that you had to have a chance, and then you don't come back. As he has gotten the last 7 batters out, if the Beacons could have gotten that from Monroe, this would be a whole different game. But Monroe gave up 3 in his inning of work back in the 2nd, and that got them into that very deep hole that they're still trying to get out from. First pitch misses low and in to Whalen. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 taken the other way. Great grab made by one of the bodyguards out there in the UMass Boston bullpen. As he had 3 in front of the pitcher. That one misses down low. That's actually my man, a Barnstable native, and Jack Harrington making that catch. Another Cape Codder coming up big for the Beacons in this tournament. Ground ball down to Fowler, who kicks that, but he's got time, recovers, and yes, a foot was on the bag at the right time over at first base, so the putout goes 3-1, and now there are 2 away. 2 down for Ryan Enos. Enos is 2 for 3. He singled each of his last 2 times up. He also reached on an error back in the first. He scored 2 runs. And he's also made 3 outstanding plays over at 3rd base that have really thwarted the UMass Boston offense over the last couple of innings. Had the bare hand play on the bunt by Riley to throw him out. Had the assist to the plate to get an out at the plate on a contact play. And then, of course, caught the liner last inning as well. 0-1, down in the dirt, count even, 1 ball, 1 strike. One pitch, down in the dirt. Beacons just hoping they can keep this as tight as they can. They need, you've known all day long, they were going to need a big inning of 4+ runs if they were going to be able to come back and win this thing today. What they're doing right now is just keeping themselves alive in the game so that they continue to have that potential in the game. Because if you'd gotten behind, 10, 11, 12 runs, it'd be completely out of the question. But down by just the 4, it's still worth having the conversation about. As this 2-1 is popped up foul, and it gets out of play. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes to count, as the ballpark lights becoming more and more important here at White House Field. Gottesman working from the stretch. They're going to set up away. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Enos pops it up on the infield into shallow left. Going back to get it is Hughie. He makes the call and the catch. 9 in a row set down by Gottesman. Now can the Beacons do something about it to make it worth his while on offense? Nothing across for the Lakers in the 6th. We head to the late frames. Your score still the same. Lakers 7, Beacons 3. We'll take a break and come back. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional on beaconsathletics.com.
Shortstop, number 29, Charlie Hughie.
Charlie Hughie going to lead things off in the top of the 7th inning for UMass Boston. Something we haven't talked about a ton yet in this game that's going to become the conversation here real quick is Nick Antonello, because he came out last inning and pitched like he was double parked, set UMass Boston down in order and in a hurry. After UMass Boston had had 3 very good trips to the plate in a row, they were gone fast. He had 2 strikeouts, faced the minimum of 3 batters, and got 6, 7, and 8 in order last inning. So now you've got Hughie quickly in an 0-2 count. It's Charlie Hughie, Eddie Riley, and Kyle Boudrias, 9, 1, and 2 coming up for UMass Boston. So here I'm talking to you about, can they have a big rally, a big rally, a big rally? Well, they haven't gotten a base runner against Nick Antonello yet. They've got to do that first. 0-2, hit off the end of the bat. Sound like it might have been hit twice, but Enos, no problem for him as he continues to be a machine over at the hot corner for Oswego State. 1 down in the 7th inning, and now 5 straight set down by Laker pitching, including all 4 that Antonello has faced. So Eddie Riley now the batter. Riley is 1 for 3 on the day. He homered back in the 3rd. That got UMass Boston on the board, but there was nobody on base in front of him. So the damage was minimal. First pitch is in for a called strike. No balls, 1 strike the count. Curveball there. Riley fouls it off, gets a piece. No balls, 2 strikes.
I'll ask John. He's scoring as well. What was the first out? Ground out to third base. Third base, 5-3.
0-2 pitch. Hit to center, not far enough. More of a left center, but playable, and caught in center by Barnes, and there are 2 away. So 5 up, 5 down for Antonello, who has really put a chokehold on this game since coming in last inning. Leaves it up to Boudrias with 2 out and the base is empty. Boudrias is 2 for 2. Walked in the 1st, singled in the 3rd, had the triple in the 5th inning, tripled and did not score despite a hit to follow. He was put out between 3rd and home on a contact play. A lower strike gets called there, as when you're pitching as well as Antonello is, a lot of times that strike zone grows for you. Now here's the 0-1, taken and into right field for a base hit, and add Boudrias to the list of guys. It would be a shame if the Beacons don't win this game today, because he's done all that he can do. 3 for 3 with the triple and a walk in this game. He's certainly doing everything he can do. Over on the other side of things, Gottesman doing all he can do, as he's retired 9 batters in a row for UMass Boston. But you just look to see if UMass Boston can get that big hit or hits that can get them up and over the top today. Still down by 4 with just 7 outs remaining in their season if they can't get this turned around. Ground ball off the bat of Murphy. Enos has got it again. He is killing UMass Boston defensively. No runs in the inning on a hit, no errors, and 1 man left, and now Oswego 6 outs away from a repeat trip to the College World Series. 7th inning stretch time here in Harwich. We'll step aside and come back. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional on beaconsathletics.com. Brandon Nicholson comes to the plate to lead off in the bottom of the 7th inning for Oswego State. And these innings now just becoming kind of a formality now. If you're an Oswego State fan, you really want to see yourselves pitching and getting those outs that you need to win. But in the meantime, you get a couple cracks at some more insurance. Lakers still getting it done with those 7 runs that they stacked up in the first 2 innings. Have not scored since, and the biggest reason for that has been the man on the mound right now, Ben Gottesman. The sophomore out of Acton has been outstanding in 3 innings of relief, gave up a single to the very first batter he faced. He's retired everyone since. 1-1 pitch, misses away. Now 2 balls and a strike. 2 different times in this game, UMass Boston had a runner at third with 1 out, wasn't able to score him either time. 2-1 foul back. And those little nickel and dime things are really what's hurting them right now. I mean, if you would take just a 7-5 score right now and feel pretty good about it, if you were the Beacons, and instead still down by 4, here as this one gets increasingly late. 2-2 pitch, eye high, and hit to center field. A lot of times those look good off the bat, but when you have to go that high to hit it, they never get out. So Nicholson makes the catch in center field. 10 straight set down by Gottesman. So 1 away now from Mike Delicari, as he's 0 for 2. A couple of groundouts to first base with a walk, a stolen base, and a run scored, sandwiched in between in that busy 2nd inning. That right now is most of the difference in the game as the first pitch rides high for ball 1. You had those 4 unearned runs scored against the starter Brian Kaufman in the first inning, and if you took just those away, you'd have an even game, but you can't take those away, of course. 1-0 pitch, misses low. And a hitter's count here for Delicari. John Barnes waiting on deck. This is the 2-3-4 portion of the Laker lineup. 2-0, hit the other way, foul. Two 2-1 misses up and in. Pop up into shallow left, looks to be in fair territory. Everybody giving chase, nobody catches the ball, and that could turn into a double real quick, and it will. Couple of problems there. Not only does Hughie not catch the ball, but he ends up landing on his stomach, so that meant that Cesare had to climb up over top of him to pick up the ball and throw it in, and that took away any chance he had of getting the out at second base. So an excuse me double there by Delicari. Breaks that great streak that Gottesman had going. And remember, 1 run is probably enough to win this thing now if you're Oswego State, because we're late enough in the game that UMass Boston's only got 2 more cracks at this. So if you can take the game out of Grand Slam range, it's going to be very difficult to lose at this stage. John Barnes, the batter. Barnes 0 for 3, though he did reach on an error back in the second inning. He popped out to second base his last time up. That ended the 4th inning. Curveball misses down low. 1 ball, no strikes. (1-0), fouled out of play. Cut to the right side, now 1-1.
I'm all right. I'm hanging in there. I'm all right. I'm hanging in there.
Gottesman checks the runner at second. Now comes to the plate, the 1-1. Driven back, foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Delicari gets his lead from second. Gottesman takes a look at the runner, now comes to the plate. Curveball lifted to right field. This one, big trouble. They had him set to go the other way, and it lands in right field. Another run going to come in and score here on the RBI double by Delicari. The game again out of Grand Slam range. Beacons rolled the dice with their defensive positioning. They thought that Barnes would pull, and he just served it out the other way to a spot where if you had Herzog in a normal right field position, that's an easy catch for him. But he was so far in the other direction that he just wasn't able to go chase that down. It lands for an RBI double. So they look hard hit in the score sheet. Neither of them exactly clobbered, but they go to good spots for Oswego State as fortune continues to smile on them here. And they lead it 8-3, needing just 6 more outs for a regional title. Tough end of the road here for Gottesman, who has been pitching so well. Just catches some bad luck on back-to-back balls, and now you've got an 8-3 game. Fastball misses a little bit in to Miles Kutcher. Kutcher 0 for 2, was hit by a pitch and scored in the first, struck out swinging to end the second, grounded out to second base to lead off the fifth. 1-0 fastball, misses away. 2 balls, no strikes. Gottesman kicks and delivers, goes back to the hook, misses high with it. UMass Boston with nobody in their bullpen, and I know they don't have a lot available, but if you're trying to keep this game close, if there truly is no tomorrow, you really need to have somebody at least available to come into this game. You had some people up there, you had people outstanding so that guys could throw before. Same thing, same exact thing is going to result in another double and another run. Miles Kutcher delivering that to that indefensible spot in right field, back-to-back right-handed hitters going the other way and hitting doubles to drive in runs. And Oswego State really making it hurt. They now lead it 9-3 as Barnes comes in to score from second. Beacons fought back. They did a lot to keep it interesting. They stayed in the thick of it. They threatened to really get close in this game a couple of times, but they never actually did it. And now 3 straight doubles at this most inopportune of times might be getting the ticket to Appleton for Oswego State. So here's Eli Holton. Can he become the 4th straight Laker to double? Ball 1 misses outside. He had a 2 RBI single, and remember, that wasn't crushed either. That was a flare to shallow left. Oswego State has had some very, very well-placed hits in this game today that's produced a lot of their runs. Curveball misses high, 2-0. Holton scored a run in that inning as well. He struck out looking to lead off the third. He flew out to center his last time up back in the 5th. That was a very well-struck ball. Almost all the way back to the 400 sign in straightaway center. 2-0 misses low, and you can see that Gottesman has just had his momentum broken, and jogging over to third here is Kutcher. So did they called a balk there. There was no pitch, and it's a 2-0 count. Now UMass Boston amazingly going to have to draw that infield in with the runner at third. Desperate times calling for desperate measures here in the bottom of the 7th. And remember, Oswego State, the home team, if they can keep the lead, wouldn't have to bat the bottom of the 9th. Runner breaks, they'll throw home, and the sweep tag. Yeah, what? They'll call him safe. The umpire pointed like he was about to punch him out. I agree with the safe call, but one of the most bizarre safe calls I've ever seen, as he looked like he was about to come with the fist. So the ball was there in time, but Gottesman did not turn and pay attention to make the tag. He just kind of threw his arm across home plate, facing the other way, assuming he would contact the base runner. Didn't really happen that way. And so a balk and a pass ball brings in run number 10 for Oswego State. Now the party really is on out in New York, as that one misses, ball 4, and this is just completely gone to shreds on UMass Boston in the span of 3 batters. Mound visit now, but no crying over spilled milk at this point. 10-3 the lead. And you're right back where you started in the first inning. So what that means is not only is it a 7-run deficit, but all that work you did, innings 3 through 6, to come back and fight to have a chance in this game is as good as not. As now Gottesman will come out of the game. He deserves a tip of the cap. He responded to the call and did a great job for UMass Boston for a while. But those 3 straight doubles really broke him, and then you saw the mental mistakes that result in the end of his outing. So the Beacons will go to the bullpen, but looks like we're delaying the inevitable at this point in Harwich. We'll take a break and come back in a moment and tell you about Anthony Pescara as he comes on to pitch. 10-3 the lead for Oswego State in the 7th. Anthony Pescara, the new pitcher into the game for UMass Boston. 5'11", 160-pound left-hander out of Hinsdale, Illinois. And Kevin Hylas now steps up to the plate for Oswego State. He is 1 for 2, had an RBI single in the first, walked and stole a base in the third, flew out to left his last time up to end the fifth. Runner goes, gets a massive jump, no throw. Something you've seen too much of against this UMass Boston defense in this tournament, uncontested stolen bases. There's another one there. 1 ball, no strikes. Remember, only 1 out in the inning still, so opportunity still for the Lakers to pile on. UMass Boston had such a well-pitched game against Ramapo back on Friday night. Whoever would have thought then? Ground ball to shortstop. Hughie over to get it. Makes a strong throw across to Fowler for out number 2. Over to third in the process is Holton with 2 away. Whoever would have thought after you watched that 10-inning, 2-1 nail-biter a couple of days ago that Oswego State would come in here and put up 11 on UMass Boston yesterday and then 10 here today. I'm sure they believed they could do it, but until you see it up on the line score, it's pretty hard to believe, but here we are. Lucas Olson, the batter. Olson 0 for 3 today. As ball 1 misses low and in. Olson flew out to center to end the first. He flew out to left in the third, and he struck out swinging to lead off the 6th. Went in for a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 away. One fastball raked out to center field, having to go a long ways for Shino, but he's able to bring it in for the out that retires the side. So Pescara gets his job done, retires both batters he faced, but the damage certainly already done. 3 straight doubles set the stage for 3 more runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 man left aboard. At the end of 7 full innings of play, your score now Oswego State 10, UMass Boston 3. We'll press on to 8th inning action when we return here on beaconsathletics.com.
Leading off the Beacons, the first baseman, number 40, Chris Fowler.
Chris Fowler will lead things off for UMass Boston in the top of the 8th inning. Beacons are going to need quite a lot. Down by 7 here with 6 outs remaining, and when you get into that situation where you need more runs than you have outs, that's when it gets awfully tough. Back out there is Nick Antonello, who's been very good through his first 2 innings of work, goes to the change there and catches Fowler looking for a fastball. Now 0-2. Fowler's had himself a good game, 3 for 3. 2 singles and a doubles, also scored a run. 0-2 pitch, bounces down in the dirt. One-two pitch, good change again, and Fowler out in front of it again. He goes down swinging, and now if UMass Boston is going to come back, they've got to find a way to get the lineup all the way back around to him. 1 down for Ryan McCormick.
Number 16, Ryan McCormick.
This part of the lineup has had a rough day. 5, 6, and 7 combined are 0 for 7, including McCormick's 0 for 3. He takes ball 1. McCormick grounded out to second base in the 2nd inning. He struck out swinging in the 4th, and he flew out to center to end the 5th. Takes ball 2 down low there. 2-0 fastball in for a called strike 1. Two-one, hit hard to deep right field. Going back is Delicari, and he is going to watch it go. Home run off the bat of Ryan McCormick. Makes it a 10-4 ball game. So McCormick rounds the bases, now a 6-run game. And that's the thing that really hurts UMass Boston in these 2 games. Against Oswego State, they've hit 3 home runs, but they've all been solos, and they've all been while they were trailing in the game. So great as they are, you're only able to get so excited about them because they've just been drops in the bucket every time. You'll live with a solo if you've got a multi-run lead. First pitch misses for ball 1 to Anthony Cesare. Cesare's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts, a walk, and a run scored sandwiched in between. As the next pitch misses low and outside, Cesare was involved with that very strange play where Olson made a 4-base total throwing error from catcher with runners at first and second, where both guys were able to take 2 bases because the throw went so far into right field. Now a 3-0 count on Cesare with 1 away and the base is empty. 3-0 pitch is in there for a called strike 1. Herzog waiting on deck. Sal Frascino in the hole.
Take those cookies out of there, though. There's no cookies in here. Believe me, we ate. No.
Antonello ready to deliver his fastball, popped up. Enos is over there. He's done everything today defensively, and there's another. 2 gone. Oswego State now 4 outs away from another trip to Appleton in 2018. Both these teams won separate regionals a year ago to go to the College World Series. This year they sent them to the same place, and this matchup pretty inevitable, 1 versus 2, but it's been the 2 taking it to the 1 in the 2 head-to-head matchups. A cumulative score of 21-8 between these games as that pitch is in there for a called strike 1 to Nick Herzog. Herzog 0 for 2. He popped out to shortstop to end the second inning. He hit his sacrifice fly to right field to drive one in back in the 4th, and he lined out, robbed by Enos his last time up in the 6th. Now 1-1 count after that one misses low. Antonello's 1-1, taken the other way, has enough to get out of play. We'll have at least one more pitch in the 8th inning. Remember, UMass Boston, the visiting team in this game, which means we won't necessarily have a bottom of the 9th inning, which means this could potentially be over in a hurry. Lakers already have the runs they need. 1-2 pitch. Down in the dirt for ball 2. If Herzog could keep it going, Sal Frascino would bat next. Two, down in the dirt, and the count now full. Payoff pitch, hit on the ground to guess who? Enos with it again at third, cannon of an arm over to first and gets it there in time for the out that retires the side, and now the Lakers are 3 outs away from headed to the College World Series for a 2nd year in a row. Beacons score once on the McCormick homer, 1 run on 1 hit, no errors and none left. And at the end of 7.5, your score now, Lakers 10, Beacons 4. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional Final on beaconsathletics.com. All right, welcome back as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. The money's in the bank for Oswego State. They just need 3 more outs, but baseball is baseball, so you still have to go out there and hit the bottom of the 8th inning. Zach Whalen will lead things off, to be followed by Ryan Enos and Brandon Nicholson. As the first pitch is in there for a called strike 1. Whalen is 0 for 3 today. He's grounded out to third base twice to lead off the 2nd and to end the 3rd, and he also grounded out to first base his last time up in the 6th. 0-1 pitch, misses a little bit high. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. One pitch, waved at and missed. Foul tipped in and out of the catcher's mitt. 1-2. UMass Boston coming into this game an amazing 37-9. That's better than an .800 win percentage for the year. But 37-10 would mark the end of their year as the 1-2 misses low and away. Oswego State doing this the way you've pretty much got to do it. In 8-team regional play, you just have to win and keep on winning. as they're looking for their fourth. Here's a curveball hit wide of third base. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Piscara retired both batters he faced last inning in relief of Gottesman, who was very good for 3 innings, not so good last inning. 2-2 waved at and missed for strike 3, and this is so often what happens in double elimination 8-team regional play. Usually, that team that ends up as your runner-up, it's not because they didn't play well, it's just because they ran out of pitching. It's what happens over and over and over again, particularly at the Division III level where you don't have scholarship arms. And that's what's happened to UMass Boston here today. They just ran out of bullets in the chambers. There's one away. Ryan Enos now the batter. You wonder how things might have been different, maybe, if Kaufman fields that first ground ball hit back to him in the first inning. Theoretically, that could save you 4 runs that ended up scoring unearned, and maybe he pitches a little deeper into the game, but there was no way to get around the fact that you didn't have a legitimate starter for this game, and you did not have a lot in relief. And now here's another inside-out swing, and this is going to happen for no, they'll call it foul. Looked to be pretty close to the line. Would have been another double hit the opposite way, as they got back-to-back ones like that to drive in runs last inning, but Jamie Williams calling a foul, and now Enos trots back with a 1-1 count and 1 away. One 1 belted into left, and that'll get down for a hit, having to field it on a hop in left field is Cesare, and aboard with the single is Enos, so he just missed out on the double. Takes the single instead, and he is now 3 for 3 on the day. 3 for 5 on the day, 3 singles. Also reached on an error.
Second baseman, number 13, Brandon Nicholson.
Here's Brandon Nicholson. Nicholson is 1 for 3. Had the 2-run homer back in the second that really blew this game open. 4-0 was bad, but ever since it's been 6-0, you've pretty much known this is the way the day was going to go. He also walked and scored in the first. Since then, popped out to first base in the fourth and flew out to center to lead off last inning. Piscara deals and gets it on the outside corner for a called strike 1. High time for that strike zone to start growing a little bit, as none of us getting any younger here. Piscara has the man picked off. Why are you running with a 10-4 lead? Enos is out by a mile, and that's the second out of the inning. Maybe he was just trying to grease the skids. Might have been on purpose. So the caught stealing goes 1-3-6, and now there's 2 away. 1 ball, 1 strike the count on Nicholson. Piscara kicks, he delivers, and misses for ball 2. Ground ball back through the box and up for a base hit, so a 2-out single here for Nicholson. So he's got himself a 2-hit day.
The right fielder, number 15, Mike Delicari.
Mike Delicari now the batter. Delicari is 1 for 3, doubled and scored last time. Also walked, stole a base, and scored back in the second inning. He's had a big tournament. Of course, had the home run in yesterday's game. A win here would be the 30th of the year for Oswego State, and it would get them back to Appleton. Curveball on the corner for a called strike 1. If Delicari could reach, Barnes would bat next. 0-1, popped up into shallow center. The cloud's an issue. That ball hit into a tough spot, but coming in to make the running catch just in the nick of time for Shino for the out that retires the side. So the stage is set. No runs in the inning on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left aboard. 3 more outs are all that separate the Oswego State Lakers from a second straight trip to the College World Series. We'll find out if they get them when we return. You're watching the 2018 New England Regional Final on beaconsathletics.com. Rocco Leone, the new second baseman, into the game for Oswego State. We saw them do that yesterday as well. So Nicholson back in the dugout to celebrate. And remaining on the mound is Nick Antonello, trying to come up with 3 more outs. And for Sal Frasino, this could be the end of his road as a senior out of Derby, Connecticut, potentially his last trip to the plate in blue and white. What a career he's had as that first pitch is in for a called strike 1. Of course, UMass Boston having the 2 best years in the history of their program these last 2 seasons. They were sort of an underdog Cinderella back in 2010. They've become the class of New England baseball at the Division III level over these last 2 years. And with Monin Park in full swing, very attractive to recruits, you have to figure it only gets better for Brennan Eigebrod from here. One-two pitch waved out in the dirt. They'll try to apply the tag. Now need to throw. Throw goes down to first. From Olson to Hylas. Put out goes 2-3. And now Oswego State 2 outs away. And the Lakers chant building from over on that side of the ballpark up the third base side. 1 away now for Charlie Hughey. Hughey 0 for 3 today. Reached on a fielder's choice back in the 4th inning. Couple of ground outs to third base on either end of it, most recently in the 7th. So for UMass Boston, they pick up 3 wins in the tournament, but Oswego State proving to be their kryptonite here. As Oswego State picked up 1 win each day, and that's the way you do it. That's the easiest and best way to win this tournament. That one misses low, now 1-1. One in for a called strike, now 1-2. One-two lined and stabbed at shortstop. Big throw across, but too late. Terrific diving effort by Whalen, but not a makeable play as Hughey legs out the infield single. And there's 1 aboard in the top of the 9th for UMass Boston. So we come back up to the top of the lineup for Eddie Riley. Riley 1 for 4, but it was a loud one, a solo home run back in the 3rd inning that got UMass Boston on the board for the first time. You look at how Oswego got here, a 13-3 win over Suffolk in Game 4. That was at Clark University back on that crazy weather day on Thursday where this field here was unplayable. First pitch gets in for a called strike to Riley. On Friday, Oswego State played in Game 8. They beat Keystone in that other winner's bracket game. These were the two winner's bracket winners on day 2, as that one waved that and missed. So they beat Suffolk, then Keystone, and then UMass Boston potentially twice to take this thing. 2 more outs to get. 0-2 pitch hit on the ground. This could do it. To shortstop. They'll go to second for 1. Back to first. Safe. Hold the party. They were getting together in the outfield, getting ready to celebrate. But Jamie Williams keeping us all here for one more batter in a 10-4 game. 6-4 the putout at second base. And now Kyle Boudrias the batter.
The designated hitter, number 15, Kyle
Boudrias 3 for 3 on the day. Had a triple back in the 5th inning. Singled his last time up. Worked the walk back in the 1st. Now the infield will play back with the 2 out. And the first pitch misses away. Oswego State looking to finish off their 30th and most important win of the year. No throw down to second. As Riley able to grab the bag. Takes the force away anyway. .20 pitch misses up a little high. And now if this were a closer game, you'd start to get excited about this 3-0 count if you're a UMass Boston fan, but that's what makes that 3-run 7th so big for the Lakers, is with those 3 straight doubles and then the balk and the pass ball, they really put this thing out of reach. As the get-me-over strike is in. Now 3 balls, 1 strike. Boudrias trying to keep this going for Dave Murphy, who waits on deck. Game 14 of this tournament. It's twisted and turned, but through it all, Oswego State has been in front. Here's the 3-1 pitch. It's lifted to center field. Playable in straightaway center. Barnes makes the catch, and for the second time in as many years, the Oswego State Lakers are headed to the College World Series in Appleton, Wisconsin. New England Regional Champions in 2018. Wins at 3 fields in 3 towns in 4 days, including back-to-back wins with double-digit scores over the defending regional champions and the number 3 team in the country. How's that for headed to the College World Series in style? We will hang here for you on the broadcast for a few minutes so that those of you who want to see can see the post-game award presentations. They'll present the runner-up trophy to UMass Boston first. They'll present the championship trophy to Oswego State. They'll also name the all-tournament teams. We'll give you an opportunity to listen into that as best as we can pick it up, and then certainly let you see the Lakers receive the hardware due them, as they certainly earned it in this tournament, going 4-0, running the table, and scoring 21 runs in 2 games against UMass Boston in order to do it. So the team's having their meetings, but really not a whole lot left to say about this one. This game was decided in the first 2 innings today. UMass Boston, suspended disbelief for a little while, fought like they might get back into the game, but they squandered opportunities to score in both the 2nd inning and the 5th inning. If you'd gotten something in those innings, maybe you had something late. They didn't. They stayed behind by at least 4 through the entirety of this afternoon after the 1st inning, and then those 3 innings, those 3 runs in the 7th inning really put it safely out of reach for Oswego State. So congratulations to the Lakers on a job well done, as they came here and did everything they set out to do, knocking off Suffolk up at Clark on Thursday, beating Keystone in shutout fashion on Friday, and then really outlasting UMass Boston yesterday and then into today. And getting that win yesterday so very important because it pushed UMass Boston into the loser's bracket. UMass Boston couldn't just come back and play this game today. They had to go beat Ramapo first to do it, use a whole bunch of pitching in the process, and you saw just how empty the cupboard was by the time UMass Boston got to this game in terms of getting it pitched. And that's just the way it goes in double elimination play. That's typically what happens. That's why the best way to win this thing is to never lose. Win once a day, get through it, and move on. That's what you tend to see in conference tournaments. It's what you tend to see in the regional, and it may well be what you see out in Appleton next week as well. So a job very, very well done by the Lakers as they celebrate. And in just a couple of minutes here, we'll have the presentation of the all-tournament team as well as the trophies here from Harwich. In the meantime, we'll step aside. Champions of the New England Regional in 2018 are the Oswego State Lakers by virtue of their 10-4 win in Game 14 over UMass Boston. We'll be back. The announcements of the all-tournament team.
From Oswego State, Robert Donnelly. From Ramapo College, John Brignani. Utility from Keystone College, Dakota McFadden. DH from UMass Boston, Kyle Boudrias. From Ramapo, outfielder Anthony Kuzmenko. From Oswego State, outfielder Mike Delicari. From Oswego State, infielder Kevin Hylas. From UMass Boston, infielder, catcher Ryan McCormick. From UMass Boston, infielder Dave Murphy. From Western New England, infielder Alex Laparco. Your tournament MVP from Oswego State, Ryan Enos.
A good pick there on Ryan Enos. He certainly got it done with both the bat and the glove, and so he is your tournament most valuable player here in 2018. Taking the torch from Chris Fowler, who's over in that other huddle on the other side. Really a tremendous tournament he turned in today. When you think about those two plays he made in the fifth inning today, the game was on the line then. It was 7-3 in only the fifth inning. UMass Boston was threatening to score for the third straight inning. Enos made the great bare hand play on the bunt to take the hit away from Riley, and then he throws home on the contact play to cut Boudrias down at the plate after his triple. those two plays really, really broke UMass Boston. They did not really threaten again. You had the one isolated solo home run, but they just didn't do it again the rest of the day. Those were the plays that really spun this game, and of course Enos was all over the bases at the place as well. In the meantime, we're going to listen in to the trophy presentations to both UMass Boston and Oswego State. Let's pick that up.
And now for the presentation of the tournament trophy is New England Regional Tournament Committee, Judy Scarafile, Tournament Director, John Martin, NCAA Rep, Patty Lloyd from the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, and Mike Kelly from Massachusetts Maritime Academy. Your 2018 New England Regional Tournament champions, Oswego State.
And so there you have it, the presentation of the regional championship trophy to Oswego State. Certainly well deserved and hard earned over these last 4 days here in New England. A true New England regional championship as they went to Worcester on Thursday, here on Friday, Buzzards Bay yesterday, and back here today to claim the title, and really leaving no doubt along the way, winning 10-4 today after winning 11-4 yesterday, not just dethroning the defending regional champion in UMass Boston, but really, truly taking it away from them with what they were able to do with the bats over the course of these last 2 days. And we hear that they are actually the first team to clinch their spot to the World Series, so congratulations to them on that. You'll see that the photographs being taken out there toward home plate, and this is a rough enough shot through a window and through screens and through the fence and everything else, and all these people taking their pictures. So there's not going to be a whole lot left visually, so we will step aside on the broadcast and let you enjoy all the other coverage that's going to be available here in just a minute. Your final score here for the final time: Oswego State 10 runs on 10 hits with 1 error. UMass Boston 4 runs on 10 hits with 2 errors. And that will do it for us here today. Thanks so much for watching, not only today, but throughout the tournament. Thanks to everyone at UMass Boston for putting these games on. And on behalf of everybody here, this is John Cabral saying congratulations to the Lakers, and so long from Harwich.